Today we're heading to Menai PARKRUN, a deceptively tough course with rolling inclines and declines throughout. A park run perfect for hill training. And in today's video I'm going to be telling you everything that you need to know about this park run whilst also trying to achieve my fastest time. So let's get into it. Menai PARKRUN is located within Parc Menai, which is southwest of the Sydney CBD in New South Wales, Australia. The park run is actually described as flat on the app, however you'll find out that it is definitely not the case. It is a hilly two-lapper on a mixture of tarmac and grass, so therefore I'd probably recommend either road or trail shoes depending on the weather. So if it's a really wet day, I'd probably wear trail shoes because obviously the grass is going to get a little bit muddier. However, if it is a dry day, road shoes are perfectly fine. But if you do have hybrid shoes, that is probably the best ones to wear. The park run also starts at 8 AM, so thankfully you don't have to wake up too early, and it is also good to note that it is buggy/pram friendly, it is dog friendly too, and there are public toilets literally located right next to the start line within the park. So in terms of facilities, this is a pretty good one for it. The park run wasn't too busy either, with just 152 runners, so it had a really nice, quiet, local community feel, and the run director and all the volunteers were great too, and real high spirits for today's event. In terms of whether you're going to hit a PB or not, I definitely say no. There are much faster park runs than this one, as this is a pretty hilly one. And then in terms of the scenery, I'd say it's not the best looking park run which I've ever been to. However, the Parc Menai itself is quite a nice little park. The boardwalk area is quite nice too when you cross over the road. However, running alongside the road, obviously there are nicer park runs than that. And now we know a little bit more about this park run, let me take you through a quick summary of the course. So you're going to start within Parc Menai, do a loop of that before heading over the overpass and then down along Menai Road. So most of the elevation is along Menai Road. You'll then head back over the overpass, do a loop again of Parc Menai and complete lap number 2 before ending in Parc Menai again. So you've got an elevation gain of approximately 71 metres and a max elevation of 128 metres, making this a pretty tough park run. So now that you've seen a quick summary of this park run, let me take you through it in just that little bit more detail. So you're going to start off here in behind the Anzac Memorial and head your way up towards the northwest. This is all on grass to begin with. You'll then do a right hand turn onto the paved paths and head your way to the most northerly point before doing another right hand turn and then heading your way south. So you'll then enter the Bushland Reserve within Parc Menai all the way down to the bottom, where you'll then hit the overpass. So there's 2 ramps and 2 U-turns to do to get to the top of the overpass before crossing Menai Road and then doing those 2 ramps back down the other side. Once you hit the bottom of the second ramp, you'll notice a big bollard, so do make sure to watch out for that and not run straight into it. And you'll then do a U-turn and head your way back towards Menai Road. Once you hit the road, you'll then do a left-hand turn and head your way all the way down a steady decline towards the roundabout, where you'll then do a U-turn and head your way all the way back up the incline to the overpass. This time though, you're going to cross underneath the overpass and head your way all the way back down the other side towards the other roundabout, and then do another U-turn and head your way all the way back up. So there's a tough incline and decline in both these sections. Once you get back up to the top, you'll cross underneath the overpass again before doing a U-turn and heading your way back towards the overpass, crossing over it and back towards Parc Menai. You'll then basically do exactly what you did in the first lap, heading your way back towards the start before doing a U-turn and then completing the second lap. So once you've completed that second lap and you're completely out of breath, instead of doing another loop of Parc Menai, you're then going to do a left-hand turn around here. It's back onto the grass and then it is a sprint to that finish line. So in terms of the park run, it does sound pretty confusing, and on the day when they went through, I thought, God, this one does sound quite confusing, but the marshals are put in perfect spots to point you in that right direction so that you don't go wrong. And there's not really that many paths which you can take, so there's not really many areas that you can go wrong at. So now you know just how difficult this park run is, let me take you through some incredible park run records which have been set here at Menai PARKRUN, starting off with the fastest mile. Well, this is actually claimed by 2 participants, which is Theo Christian and Mark Simpson, with a time of 16 minutes and 37 seconds, which is incredible bearing in mind how hilly this one is. The fastest female is Belinda Martin, which is a name that we've definitely seen before, and she's got a time of 18 minutes and 1 second, so again a really quick time. The average number of runners is around 199, so we actually got quite lucky today with there only being 152, and the average time is 32 minutes and 54 seconds. So it's a little bit higher than if you were to be going to a flat one. And then let's take a look at some slightly slower stats, which is my overall park run stats. Starting off with the number of park runs right now, which is 116 at 92 different locations. My best finish position is 4th, set at 2 different park runs, and my fastest times range from 22:32 down to 23:01. But I can't see this one today getting onto this leaderboard with just how hilly it is. And now we're at the most important part of this video, so let's get down to event number 516 of Menai PARKRUN. And you can see already that it is pretty quiet, not too many people hanging around near the front, so hopefully we should have a decent start. But today we're going to be aiming for a perfect 25-minute time because of my calf issues which I got last week over at Menai PARKRUN. So do make sure to go back and check that one out. That one was a great one too, and you get to see the full Sydney skyline. But now we're going to be setting off in 3, 2, 1, let's go, and PARKRUN Menai begins. So let's see how we get on today. So as I was saying earlier, we start on the grass. You can see quite a quick start. A lot of people going off quite early, but I'd recommend sitting back a little bit because if you go too quick at the start, you'll find it really difficult once you get to the hillier section. So we're just making our way along the grass and we'll be turning off to the right in just a moment. So watch out for the trees here. You don't want to get taken out by one of them just ducking underneath the leaves. And now you're on to that tarmac, well, sort of paved pass. I don't know really, it might be concrete to be honest, but we're going to turn off to the right and head our way to the most northerly point. If you are finding this review useful or you are enjoying this video, I'd really appreciate it though if you smash that like button. We're going to aim for 30 likes today. We almost hit it with the Menai PARKRUN, so hopefully we can hit it today. And also, if you are enjoying, do make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we've got plenty more park runs coming up on this channel, and it really does support me, and hopefully I'm improving the videos as we go on each week. So let me know of anything that you want me to improve on down in that comment section below. But we're going to continue now on the paved path as we head our way towards the reserve and towards that overpass. We're now at about half a kilometre into the run and heading our way onto the overpass. So these are the ramps which I was talking about, where you have to do a couple of U-turns to get up to the top, and you may have noticed the bollard too, which you can run into, so do be wary of that. You'll notice the elevation down in that bottom right hand corner, that will be changing throughout the rest of this park run. So you'll see when we're going uphill and we're going it downhill. And if you want any more information on the elevation or on my split times, then I'll leave a little link to my Strava down in the description below, so you can be sure to check that out. We're now crossing over Menai Road, and then we'll be going back down the other side and running alongside Menai Road in just a moment. But we've come out pretty well, around 5 minutes per kilometre pace, which is what we're targeting if you want to try and hit that 25-minute time. So now we're making our way alongside Menai Road, which you can see on the right just there. And you can also see, probably with the camera, but it is a gentle decline all the way now to that roundabout, which I was talking about earlier. So do make the most of this, because this is a lovely decline, but what goes down must come back up when we do that U-turn. So we're not looking forward to that. And we are now just over 1 kilometre into the run, just about to do that U-turn. There's that volunteer turning us around, so thank you very much to them. And now it is that uphill climb back towards that overpass. But we did that first kilometre in a time of 4 minutes and 58 seconds, so perfect pacing so far. Obviously, that was all downhill pretty much, so it makes it a lot easier to pace it. But now it is going to get harder and harder as we have the inclines coming up. You can see a nice little doggo there on the right hand side who is running too. But hopefully, if we can keep up at this pace, we should do pretty well and hit that 25-minute time. But these climbs are definitely going to burn those quads. And that is the first climb done. So we're now going to head under the overpass and down the opposite side. So again, it's a nice little gentle decline all the way down to that U-turn before then you turn around and head your way back up. The quads are now burning. The time has slowed with my pace, so I'm now going at around a 5:15 rather than the 5-minute pace. So obviously we found that a lot harder going up than we did going down. And now we've made it back down the other side, which means one thing: we complete the U-turn, and then it is back up the other side. So unfortunately, there's another climb back to the top. The quads will be burning by the time we hit the top, and then we've got to get up to the top of the overpass too, which makes it just that little bit more difficult. The perfect park run though for hill training. So if you are looking to get better at hills, this is a great one, as it is long, prolonged hills, and then you can obviously go to steeper park runs if you wanted a steeper hill. But this one is great for improving the strength, strengthening your quads, because I could definitely feel it after the end of this park run. 2 kilometers down and 3 kilometers to go. So this is the barrier which I mean to look out for when you're going over the overpass. So you don't want to run into one of those and just do a flip over the top. So be careful in that section. You'll see here on the second lap, it gets a little bit congested there too. So you might have to run all the way around and stuff. So I'll show you that once we get there. So it's now back over the overpass as we head back to Parc Menai and the Bushland Reserve. So in terms of kilometer 2, we did that in a 5:15 pace. So obviously we did slow down there, but it was to be expected as it had both of the inclines. Most of the rest of this is now either downhill or flat before we come back to the overpass and cross it for the second time. So there's lots of U-turns, which obviously do slow you down too, but this is a downhill section, which is what you like to see. And then now it is back to the path and back into the reserve. We are now at the halfway point of this park run, running at a pace of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So at this point, I looked down at my watch and went, oh God, we're going a little bit quick, especially as we don't want to get injured today. There's no need, because I know I'm not going to get a PB here. But now we're heading our way back towards where we started. So you turn off to the left, up here, around the public toilet. So that's the toilet, and that is just how close it is to the start, because you can see the memorial there in the background. You're going to head your way all the way along here before doing a U-turn where you see that blue top just done a U-turn, and then you'll be making your way into lap 2. So you may have seen already some people on the right hand side back when we were on the paved paths, and that is because they are heading their way into lap 2. So make sure to keep off to your left hand side so that you don't collide with them. But decent first decent first lap. And now we're making our way into lap 2, and hopefully it will go just as well, so we can hit that 25 minutes time. It's obviously a lot quieter now because it has spread out a lot more compared to the first lap. But the elevation you'll see in that bottom right hand corner is back to 125 meters. You'll see it drop again once we hit Menai Road. But so far, really enjoying this one, and I'm doing a really good pacing for my 25-minute time. And at 3 kilometers into the run, we are making our way back towards the overpass. So we've just gone through that reserve there. So that bollard to look out for, and do keep to the left as you've got the other runners there on that right hand side. So we're now making our way back up the ramp and back up and across to Menai Road. So we completed kilometer 3 in a time of 4 minutes and 55 seconds. So I was pretty happy about that, and I was expecting it to be a bit quicker, especially after the speed we were going around Parc Menai. But there's another U-turn, looking out for the other runners, and now we are crossing the overpass. So do be careful at the U-turn so that you don't do too wide U-turn, because you could easily run into somebody else. So we're just crossing over the road now and back down the other side, where you'll see the elevation begin to drop. 3.5 kilometers into the run, and we're about to do the U-turn again for the final time on this side. So we'll only have one more decline to do after this. So we've got another run there just in behind me, but we're heading our way back up the other side and towards that overpass. So we were running at around a 4:50 pace just over that little drop there. So doing pretty well at keeping my positioning and pace at the moment, but we're heading our way back up to the overpass, which is the difficult bit, and the quads will be burning again at the end of this. But if you are enjoying it, do make sure to let us know down in the comment section below if you have ever done this park run, and whether after watching this you're thinking, I wanted to give this one a go in the future. 4k down and 1k to go. So running at around a 5:20 right now, but we completed the 4th kilometre in a time of 5 minutes and 13 seconds. So again, a slower one, but was to be expected with the hills. We're now heading our way back down the other side, so we should be able to pick up the pace a little bit and look out for the groups of people too on that right hand side who are heading their way back up. The sun again is blinding. I think I said this in the park run last week too, that all the ones in Sydney, you always have a blinding sun because it's obviously on the east coast, whereas when we were in Adelaide, you didn't really get to see the sun too much in the morning. It was sort of in behind you, so that was quite nice. But now we're heading our way back down to the bottom, where we'll do the U-turn and head our way back to the top for the final time. So with just 500 meters left of this run to go, we complete that final climb and make our way towards the overpass. So this is where it gets a little bit congested, and I'll show you once we go around here what we do. So you remember those barriers that at the end of this ramp, obviously you can only really fit one person through it. And I don't know how people do it with the buggy, to be honest. But at this point, there was people coming through and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to just run around the opposite side and go out the left-hand side so that I don't collide into other people. We're now heading our way up to the top to cross that overpass, and then it'll be a sprint to that finish line. So it's looking good so far. We're at 4.6 kilometers in. We've slowed down a little bit because we had to at the turns and the U-turns and stuff, and obviously the watch is probably going a bit mental now, thinking why you're running around in circles. But we're gonna head our way down the other side, complete the last few U-turns, and then it's a sprint to that finish. So we're picking up that pace just a little bit more as we make our way towards the end. The sun beaming through the trees there, overtaking a couple of the slower runners, and then we're going to turn off to the left onto the grass, and it is a sprint to that finish line. It's going to be close. I think we're just going to miss out on that exact 25-minute time, but we're going to get a time of 25 minutes and 2 seconds. So pretty happy with how I paced that one today, and we finish in position 26th, which is pretty high too. So if you're looking for a high finish position, this one is pretty good for it. There was someone literally just in behind me, so I said well done to them too, as I think they were trying to overtake me, but I did manage to have a little bit of that sprint finish at the end because I preserved my energy as I didn't want to get injured. But again, that was probably a bit silly of me for running at the end because there was the risk of another injury. But now let me take you through a quick summary of Menai Park Run. So that is Menai Park Run complete, ticking off the 8th M on the alphabet challenge. So M right now is definitely in the top half in terms of letters. It also ticks off 2 seconds on our stopwatch bingo challenge, which is obviously the second half of the time which we got today. So happy days. But now let me take you through my after park run stats, where obviously not too much has changed. However, the number of park runs increases to 117. The number of locations increases to 93, but today's park run wasn't a quick one, so it's not going to get on the leaderboard for my fastest times or my best finish position today. But I was really happy with how well I did pace this one, as we were only 2 seconds off hitting that exact 25-minute time. But if you have got this far, I'd really appreciate it again if you did like the video, and also subscribe if you are new. We're so close to hitting 500 subscribers now, and that'll be a huge milestone for me and this channel, and it does mean a lot. So I'd really appreciate it if you did subscribe. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of the volunteers who were there on the day, making this one a great event, and without them these park runs could not go ahead. So a big thank you to all of them. But now, as we always do, I'm going to take you through a couple of the pinch points. So these are the points which are going to slow you down and stop you from getting your park run PB at today's park runs. The pinch point number 1 is going to be an obvious one, and it's the fact that it's hilly. So obviously with all the hills, especially at Menai Road and the overpass, it is going to slow you down and stop you from getting a quick time. Pinch point number 2 is going to be the U-turn. So there was U-turns galore at this park run, and each U-turn is going to take at least 1, maybe 2 seconds off of your time, as you have to slow down to get to it and then speed back up once you have done it. And then pinch point number 3 is going to be the fact there's a few sections on grass. Obviously today it didn't really slow us down too much, but I can imagine in the wet weather that if it gets a little bit boggier or a little bit slippier, then that is going to slow you down a little bit more. But apart from that, there were no other pinch points, but today I wouldn't expect to get a PB. And now I'm going to take you through the all-important tips and tricks section on if you're looking to get to this park run and where to go for that all-important post-park run coffee and Cake. So we'll start off with public transport. So there is a train station in Sutherland located around here, and from there it is a 15-minute bus ride on the 960 which takes you right near to the start. So it is definitely doable, however there's obviously better routes to take. The closest bus stop is the Parc Menai footbridge, and from there is a less than 5-minute walk to the start, and it takes all of these 3 buses up here. So you'll notice again the 960 drops you off here. And then finally, if you are looking to drive to this park run, there is plenty of parking, which is all a less than 5-minute walk away, and that is just to the north of the park around here. So there's parking just around the park, and then there's also parking at the sort of Homeco, the markets, which are just slightly north of the park. And then finally, the all-important post-park run coffee and cake. Where should you go? Well, everyone heads over to the Menai Marketplace, which is just north in that shopping centre which I was talking about earlier, and it's just literally right by the parking. So it's a less than 5-minute walk from the finish line to get there. Unfortunately, on the day, we headed over to the Warrenora River Bridge Walk instead. So we had a big walk to do, which was like 9-10 kilometres straight after doing that park run, and that was stunning too. So if you're just down in that area and you're looking for something to do, I recommend doing that walk too. And I'll maybe post a video either on this channel or on my vlogging channel, which has all of the information on that walk. But that is everything that I think you need to know about this park run. But if you are local to this one, then do make sure to let us know down in that comment section below of any other tips and tricks which you have for this park run. But I do hope you have all enjoyed this one, and if you have, you should definitely go and check out last week's, which was over at Park Run, where we celebrated their 100th event, and there was cake and there was amazing views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Anzac Bridge too. Unfortunately, I did get a little bit of a calf injury on the day, so you're gonna have to go back and check that out and see what happened to me. Or you can go and check out all of the other park runs in the worldwide park run playlist, which has them from all over Europe, a couple in Asia, and a lot in Australia too. Next week, we're looking to head over to Chipping Norton Park Run, which hopefully should be a lot easier than the one we did today, and apparently it is very scenic too. So I'll see you all over there next week with another park run video.